Glad you're up. Hope you dressed. Democrats will take control of the House come January, and their first order of business, raise your taxes. But it's already causing some infighting among House Democrats. Our next guest says this is just a preview of some problems for presumed Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Joining us now is Senior Fellow at the National Taxpayers Union, Mattie Duppler. Mattie, first off, are they going to just make it harder to increase your taxes? Is that what they were trying to undo what the Republicans did to make it harder to increase your taxes?
Well, Brian, at the core of the debate here are the House rules. Now, normally these are just technical changes that govern how the House does business, but the majority party gets to set those rules. So House Republicans made it more difficult to raise all taxes, and the question now for Democrats is whether or not they repeal that rule or they replace it with a rule that allows them to raise taxes on wealthy earners. And I think that this really indicates one thing. When Democrats say they want to raise taxes on the rich, they don't mean it. They mean they want to raise taxes on everyone, because right now, Nancy Pelosi is saying she has the politically salient idea to change that rule so just taxes could be raised on upper income earners. And the progressive wing of her party is saying that simply isn't enough. They want full-scale repeal of that rule so they can raise taxes on everyone.
But some of those Democrats who maybe won in Orange County, California, or in Texas, the last thing they want to do, they were in as moderates, is say go and raise taxes. So
That's exactly right.
She might have a mini Freedom Caucus issue on her hands.
I think this absolutely indicates the challenges that presumptive Speaker Pelosi has in front of her. You know, she has had years of experience making Democrats walk the plank on politically toxic votes. But when it comes to tax increases, Democrats typically have really decided to campaign on raising taxes rather than voting to actually raise taxes. Now, for months, Pelosi has been unequivocal. She says she wants to repeal the tax cuts that were passed into law last year. What this indicates, though, moving forward is that progressive Democrats in that party now really want to hold her feet to the fire and force her to make good on that promise. That's going to create problems for Democrats who typically talk a big game on taxes but are refusing to follow them up with real votes.
What's kind of interesting is we saw that big announcement last week about a crime bill that could be taken up in the lame duck session. There's pressure to do it. So I said to myself, could we have a year in which they try to do some things together and then in 2019 separate because they have to go win in 2020? Are you saying that it's going to be, do your sources say friction right away? Nothing on immigration?
Brian, I think that the next few weeks are crucial. They will indicate whether or not Democrats are actually willing to govern. We've got a couple big fights coming ahead of us. The House rules are just one of them, but of course a big funding fight with funding expiring at the first week in December. If Democrats decide to actually put ideas forward to allow for this country to move forward, you know, maybe there will be opportunity for compromise. There certainly are opportunities for that, but Democrats are the ones who hold the keys, and they need to indicate they're serious about that.
The president said I might shut down the government if I don't get the wall. A lot of his problems with Republicans. I mean, it's Mitch McConnell's the one who's not really into the wall.
You know, Republicans typically have had a lot of leverage in these spending fights, so they need to work together in order to accomplish the prerogatives that Americans want them to, that sent them to Congress to accomplish. You know, there's a lot of space left in the year for them to have those negotiations, but I really think it's important for Republicans to unite on their priorities to force Democrats to really start to take a hard look at what they're going to do when they take control of the chamber next year.
Absolutely. Mattie, thanks so much. Great insight.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, coming up straight ahead, we have South Carolina Congressman. He's going to be retiring soon, Trey Gowdy. What's he doing next?